over here, man.
My people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough.
This is the Patriots Prayer Podcast. It's a tremendous show, one of the greatest shows in the history of the world.
This is Bryson Gray, and you are watching the Patriots Prayer.
PTN, you're doing the right thing.
On the Patriots Prayer Network. Thank you all.
PTN on your bumper.
I'm Tom McDonald. This is the Patriot Prayers Network. Check it out. Lots of good TV. Lots of cool people. Tune in. Keep it locked.
I'm the white boy with the middle fingers in the air, dog. We don't give a what. 100 white boys gonna hold me down anywhere, dog. We think that you suck. My Patriots the craziest. They ain't afraid of breaking fists on faces. If you really wanna taste of this, no safety tip. The same mistake and spray the clip. I pray you miss, cause if you don't, they gon' go wacko. Automatic gun smoke like tobacco. Never hit a lady, but it's pretty hard to tell if you're a girl or a they, them. There's these, that, those. I ain't never gonna take a knee for the anthem. Smack them. I don't give a damn, can't stand them. Gang full of randoms. Fan with a handgun. Run up in your mansion, leave it all abandoned. I was raised to be brave to the grave. United States, we love the country that they've been corrupting. Go woke and go broker if you ain't obeyed. My people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough, come stand with us, take USA back. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags. American flags. American flags. And every time we pull up, all you...
Welcome, my fellow tribe of patriots. Tonight we have a special episode of the Cowboys Indians Podcast. Steve is out of commission tonight. Of course, I'm your host, the Native Patriot. With me today in a special episode is the co-creator of the Patriots Prayer Network. We have Eddie Smith on the far left of your screen. And of course, we have Theodis Daniels, who is running for office down in Texas District 18. I'm really excited for this. If you guys don't know, Theodis here is the father of DJ Daniels, and he's decided to put his foot in the ring and get involved in politics now. So, Theodis, thank you for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. And Eddie, how are you doing tonight?
Brother, there's so much going on. I'm good. I don't know where we're going to start. I'll just let you just take us wherever, bro, because there's so much going on. I don't know if you want to go at it directly from the theological point or what's happening in the news, but there's so much prophecies coming true right in front of our faces. These things that are going on in Israel, all aligned with it. It's an exciting time to be alive, dude. It is. It's a very exciting time to be alive.
It is, and it's exciting to put your foot in the ring into the realm of politics, Theodis. So, how's that going so far? And what are your plans kind of from here on out? Because I've wanted to promote you. I met you a while ago, and you seem like a genuinely good American. You know, a regular, everyday American that has decided, okay, now is the time for regular Americans to step up and take on this role that have been ran by a different class of Americans that have been the sophisticated class that have separated themselves from the American people themselves. So I'm excited to see you run, and I'm going to do everything in my power to help you win because I truly believe in you. So what is your I guess, what do you want to accomplish with this?
Well, first of all, I want to bring everybody back to thinking on their own and also if they have something that they want to do, don't think it's impossible. Everybody, today is kind of like been brainwashed to think that only a degree or you have to have 6 digits in your bank account is what's gonna take to get to be a congressman or a senator or anybody elected, and that's not true. You just have to wake up in the morning and just have the drive in you to want to do it, and God's gonna help you out either way it goes. You may not have that much money to start, but He'll provide as you go along, as long as you stay faithful, no question. Now, this 18th district special election here, I'm totally excited to do it, but it's a little bit of bumps in the road. It's because the local media is only allowing for other candidates airtime, if not when they do debates or forums, they only do those 4. So, TV is in the business of programs, and so that's what they do. They keep putting the same people out every time, so that your mind to get accustomed to their names and their faces, and then you just automatically go vote for them. Well, I decided to do something bigger, better than that. I went and got the biggest coroplast signs I could find, and I'm plastering them everywhere I can put them. I got some 16-foot coroplast signs I'm going to put above the rest of them. I put the big signs on the side of the trucks. I've got some homeless people. I'm paying $20 an hour for 2 hours a day for them to stand over bridges on the freeway, on corners.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. I actually, like, I love that. That's
we got to go back to
really
old school.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's economical and
grassroots campaign, bro.
You're right, but
grassroots,
right? And me gainfully employing a few homeless folks, that gives them a little bit of hope. Like, man, I can stand out here and make this money honestly, and I do this every day. Well, hell yeah, I'll pay you $20. It's worth it for me. And I give them something to eat. I make sure that they get something to drink. I have somebody else come by check on them and stuff like that. 2 hours a day is not going to kill them. And what they make, $20 an hour. That's not too bad. It's $40 every 2 hours. So that's 4, 8, 12, $120 in 6 hours. They're happy. And then, they can go get a room and go get them something to eat and wash themselves up a little bit and hope for tomorrow. And we keep on pushing. But, I'm going to, it looks like I was telling Eddie, I'm going to end up having to do my own forum because I think they're afraid of debating me. I really do. I believe they're afraid of debating me. I'm almost willing to bet on the fact that they don't want to see me enter a room. You should see the last time when I entered the room with DJ walking in there with me, it's like, oh my God, this dude is here. Yeah, you should feel that way. I want you to feel that way because you know why? Because change is coming, and you got somebody that's walking in this door that knows all the messes and all the neglect that those elected folks have derelicted in their duties and failed every voter that's out there. And not to mention, this isn't a money situation for me. This is a personal situation because my son would have never even been going through his cancer journey had it not been for the environment that he was in during Hurricane Harvey when they found all those 50-gallon barrels of dioxide buried in the bedrock that Hurricane Harvey threw on the banks of Channelview. And then come to find that the city and the county was getting paid from the paper mills and the chemical plants to bury stainless steel barrels in brackish water, which means saltish water, fresh water mixed together, which it'll corrode the stainless steel. And that's what happened. But then the city, when you drive along the Channelview route going to Highlands, if you see the signs, it never mentions dioxide was in the water. It says beware mercury levels and not to eat the fish or shellfish. Yeah. So yeah, we got a problem. But like, I'll even say their names on here. You got Menifee, you got Edwards, you got Martin, and you got Jones, Jolanda Jones. And they're all running, but they've been around the block a few times. And I think they've been around the block a little too much. And it's time for some fresh blood to get up in there. I mean, for God's sakes, hopefully God, give me that position for that 1 year. You only got to deal with me for 1 year. I mean, if there ain't no results, then you don't have to worry about me coming back. You don't have to be stuck with me in a gaslighting, toxic, manipulative, Stockholm syndrome relationship. I ain't got no problem with it.
They're going in on him, but he's right, and I think that we went through this before with other candidates, and they said the same thing. It's like the parties seem as though the donors pay people to run. They know they're going to lose, but they put their faces out there over and over and over again, and they're only giving airtime to certain people. And I know this because for those of you who don't know, I've been working with Theotis, very close with Theotis to get a lot of these things done, and I have contacted all major and local news outlets directly, spoke to people, emailed people, trying to get him press, pushing for these debates, calling venues to set these debates up. And in each step of the way, they're stonewalling. They're coming up with excuses, not giving him airtime. He's not the establishment candidate. I know this because I know exactly who the donors are. There's no organizations behind this guy. There's these people in the chat. That's what it is. The guy's giving $5 and $10 and $20 donations that are in the chat. That's who's funding this guy. So he's in nobody's pocket. There's no APAC donors. There's no BlackRock donors, Vanguard, State Street, defense contracting. None of that stuff, guys. None of it. and he's doing this with just the people, and that is rare. I've never, not even once in my entire life, seen a truly grassroots campaign.
Well, this is where it's time. It's where it's time to change, right? Because what has been your profession, Theotis, for the last decade?
The last decade, a majority, I'm a wildlife consultant. I deal with the control of wild animals, the dangerous ones, bobcats, mountain lions, jaguars, especially wild hogs. That's my main thing. I don't think you're going to find another better trapper in the state of Texas than get in and clear 100 hogs out in a couple of days and keep people safe. And that's one of the main things. Other than that, a lot of people don't know, and I'll have the pictures and everything to show it, but we've been building container homes for transitional housing to put people in, take them off the streets, such as homeless veterans and emergency housing for domestic violence victims, or just people that want to own something tangibly and still be able to afford it. Concerning, minimum wage hadn't moved up anywhere, but at least, you can make it on that or Social Security. So there's a lot of different things we've done too. It's not just that. Eddie,
I know.
I know. Well, but I mean, go ahead. My point here is that you're an everyday American. You're one of the guys who have been contributing to the citizens around you, not commanding from a position of looking at the citizenry on paper, right? Seeing the citizenry as a number, as, okay, how are my polls doing? How is this doing? How's this demographic, the Latino demographic? How do they see immigration? No, you've been on the ground actually doing work with the American citizens. That is completely different than the class that we've been fed for so long. The separation from the people. The government that we have is supposed to be by the people, of the people, for the people. But it's become this entity that creates its own version of Americans that are completely isolated from the regular population.
Yep.
And you're not one of them. That's why I want you to win. I want you to get in there and start tearing shit up, to start actually making a change and giving a voice to the American people, which we severely lack. It has just been a separation of government and the people for too long.
Yep, you're right. And we gotta get in the business of putting the car back on the road. Everybody's been kind of off the road a little while, and I could care less about a popularity contest. I could care less if you think I'm not the sexiest dude in the room. Don't care, honestly. Don't care if you talk about me. Don't care if you sit there and throw me under the bus. I don't really care. You got a guy here that just don't give. I don't care about too much except the fact trying to make people's lives a little easier. My life's been upside down ever since, my son was 6.5 years old and getting his cancer. My mother getting murdered. She was stabbed in the throat, chest, palms in the hands, and that's the way they found her. And then, my son gets shot. He was 7 years old, and I have no more parents. So, my both my parents are gone now. So it's definitely been a rough road. We lost our house during Hurricane Harvey. We slept on the concrete floors with chairs around us. I've given people CPR that have been shot. They died on me. I've been to countless law enforcement funerals. I've been to countless kids that were killed because Ray Ray and Pookie outside arguing over Facebook posts and shooting up the apartments and stuff like that. That's ridiculous. Or even you have some other elderly folk, their AC's breaking their house and they won't open the windows. It just so happened. I mean, I've been working on AC since I was like 9 years old with my dad. So I'll go and fix their AC for them. No problem.
Now, because of your past and the thing that you went through, your mom, you talked about, you've seen this Ukrainian woman on the train. Obviously, the man takes an innocent life for no apparent reason. And now and then this guy that stabbed someone 99 times in Indiana, and they just let him walk. I mean, when you hear stuff like that after the things that you've been through, how does that affect you?
Yeah, that burns me up. I tell you what, I think it's is it an Eighth Amendment, I believe. But anyway, that kind of applies to that. The punishment should fit the crime. If you kill somebody, you shouldn't be able to walk on the streets until you prove yourself and clear your name. And then you have the judges and the county attorneys that's letting everybody out of jail. But remember, they think they can get away with everything because they have an absolute immunity. Well, guess what? Forefathers already wrote it in black and white, not any other color ink, that says that no one is above the law. So if those judges and DAs decide to want to let somebody that murdered get out and go home, then they should be held accountable and say that, look, if they go out and do something, I'll take full responsibility for it. But of course, you know what? They're not adult enough to do that. So we got to put measures in place to take care of that business. But sounds to me like that dude on that train that stabbed that poor girl that was from Ukraine. Sounds like he's a good candidate to be an El Salvadorian resident there and a citizen at that prison. Or Ugandan. Maybe he can be African now. He can go to Africa and be in Ugandan.
Yeah, there's definitely a mental health crisis, and it seems to me, and then they just put it out earlier today in the news that they believe that it actually is policy on the left wing. They've been secretly meeting and concocting these types of things to happen to let these people out there, whether it not be actually arresting or pushing charges on Antifa members, these riots in liberal cities, the cashless bail system. It is all part of an actual conspiracy on the left to attack America, to drag America down. And when you hear that, when you hear like this has been they're not saying like this is what we think or anything. They're saying this is what we found out. And then when you couple that with what RFK and Tulsi Gabbard said about finding out, like once and for all, that HHS was complicit in trafficking, this type of news just gets heard once, and then all of a sudden people forget that they said it. And it's like, no, guys, you don't understand. Did you hear what they just said? That our federal government is paying people and creating a whole underground economy to move unaccompanied minors all throughout the United States and hand them off to transnational criminal organizations where they're even being sold for slave labor, sex, whatever the case may be. And we were complicit in this. We knowingly and willfully participated in it. And when you think about it that way, it's like, man, I get mad at everybody, even this administration. I want to see more people in handcuffs. I want to see Adam Schiff in handcuffs. I want to see Eric Swalwell in handcuffs. I want to see action, not just, who do we have? What's her face? The Somalian chick. What's her name?
Ilhan Omar.
Omar participated in the biggest pandemic fraud scheme in history. $250 million. 67 people got prison time. She got $30 million of it, and she's not even being charged with a crime, and broke our immigration laws to come here by marrying her brother after escaping accountability while her father was part of the Islamist Marxist government in Somalia. And yet she comes here and gets elected and tries to turn America into the hellhole.
Selected. I would like to just selected. There's specific. A lot of the Congress members or senators that you see on TV have been selected for that role to give a certain narrative out to the people to make it seem like we have representation, whether it be on the right or the left. A lot of this, from what I've seen throughout the past years, it has been this way. We have people like Thomas Massey in there for the libertarian crowd, who comes out and virtuously says, I voted no again. I didn't do anything. I'm just basically a seat here, and I vote no on everything. And it's like, all right, well, you're not building a coalition. You're not actually doing anything. It's just like he's playing a role. And I'm not saying that he's bought and paid off or anything like that, but I don't see any action happening from that side of the aisle, and I don't feel any true representation. I feel like people have been put in there to just say their lines and then give us this feeling that we have some kind of representation, but behind the scenes they all work together, and then the American people get screwed over again and again and again. And it's because, in a lot of ways, the people that have been selected have not been they haven't been the working class. They haven't been the class that has struggled for a long time. Or if they do have that sob story, now that they're rich and they got millions and millions of dollars, they're like, well, I don't want to lose this, so I won't say anything that upsets my donors. It's a hard line to walk. We lost the Otis.
Yeah, we lost the Otis. unless he logs back in. Let's switch it to 2. All right. So yeah, if he opts back in, he opts back in. But you're right. Listen, I love Thomas Massey's ability to stand on character, which is the same reason I loved Ron Paul. But the Libertarian Party throws the baby out with the bathwater. I mean, we interviewed libertarians prior to the election, and there were many of them who said that they were going to abstain from voting. And it just made no sense to me when the difference between the two candidates were so drastic that you would think that not voting is the better option. It's crazy. Yeah.
Okay, Troll here says that only one with a backbone. Now, the only opposition I have towards that is that Thomas Massey hasn't been able to actually do anything with the courage that he's showed to oppose whatever he's opposing, right? It just seems like they kind of keep him there as like the outcast. Like, okay, he's going to give the libertarians a voice, and they're going to have their champion. Meanwhile, we're going to continue passing everything we want to. And it's like there hasn't been any, like, the squad has done more than Thomas Massey has, right? They're able to coalesce and bring people together to actually accomplish something, as opposed to just standing in front of a tank as it runs you over, right? Like that's kind of how I feel. Thomas Massey's, like, his whole strategy is just like, I'm not going to move from this tank. Ah!
But imagine though, imagine that if we did have real staunch fiscal conservatives in those positions that really thought and voted the way that he did, where they said, this is a line that I won't cross or compromise. I think back to when Kevin McCarthy was voted out of the House as Speaker for not keeping his promises, and Matt Gaetz, along with 7 other congressmen, were the only ones with enough balls to actually vote to throw him out, and that was enough. It took 8 people to oust Kevin McCarthy, and we thought we were getting something different when we put Mike Johnson in, and turned out to be more of the same backroom deals and people compromising their positions in order to get votes to move the next thing along. And I have a problem with the Libertarian Party as it sits right now for the reasons that I just said, but I would really like to see the conservatives do more. I mean, we talked last night, and I said the same thing. I said, listen, I just don't – I feel like there's no good guys. That's why I like Theotis. I know Theotis. I talk to Theotis every day, multiple times a day. And I know exactly what he stands for, and he's the everyday. He's the everyday guy. He's you. He's me. He's my next-door neighbor. He goes through the same things, puts himself out there for people. And he's a regular guy. He's not the political class of, lawyer, and he wasn't tagged in by some organization or nonprofit that he's secretly really championing like a lot of these other people are. He doesn't belong to any of that. And the GOP has completely ghosted him. They didn't even, when the debate actually happened, they never even told him where it was. Wow. This is what happens. This is what happens. It was. I remember back when Ron Paul was running for president, and he won every single debate, every single straw poll, everything. He wiped the floor with everyone on that stage, including Mitt Romney. But whenever the news would talk about it, they wouldn't mention his name. They wouldn't mention his name. They would say, in second place, we had Rick Santorum, and in third place, we had this. And they wouldn't even say his name, bro, because he was winning everything. And then at the last minute, they go to pick the nominee, and the GOP switches out the delegates. They switch out the delegates, and then the delegates get sent in to vote, and who they vote for? They voted for Mitt Romney, the guy who was no different than the guy he was running against. No different. This is the guy who supported Kamala Harris against Trump. But he's a Republican. Dick Cheney, he's a Republican, voted for Kamala Harris. All of John McCain's family came out hard for Kamala Harris. Paul Ryan, who's on the board at Fox News, voted for Kamala Harris. George Bush.
I think your point here is perfectly aligned with what Troll asked. What other Republicans are going after the elites? Almost none. That's the problem that we have, is there's been a separation between the people and the government. The government, Republicans alike, along with Democrats, have been not capable, or I don't want to say that. They've been not willing to stand up to it.
Yeah. And that's the one place where I'll say I align with Thomas Massey's morals, because Thomas Massey is one of only 2 people in Congress, whether you be Democrat or Republican, one of only 2. Think about that. 2 that doesn't have an APAC babysitter.
All right. I guess that's true. Okay. I'll stop. You know, I just, it's frustrating maybe for me just to see how ineffective he is, but
because he didn't have any teammates, bro.
It's probably just part of the system, as opposed to a fault of his. Maybe he, yeah. Like overall, I do like the guy, but it's just how ineffective he is what bugs me. Is it just seems like he just gets run over constantly. Theodis, I'm glad you're back. You know, I know that cell phone service can be a little different sometimes. Currently, Theodis is out. You know, he blessed us with his presence, even though he's on the road right now. But I do appreciate you making it here, man.
We got some stories to tell. It's too early to tell some of the stories of the things that have happened in the background during Theodis's campaign. But my God, when we finally get to tell some of these stories, people are going to be blown away. Away at the stuff that has been happening behind the scenes. You guys have no clue. No clue. The pushback, the opposition, the lies, the things that have been going on behind the scenes. And I mean, when I came into Theodis's campaign, I immediately sought out the grifters. Am I lying, Theodis?
No, you was pretty good. You went full steam ahead.
Sought out the grifters. I felt like Maurice. I felt like what's the guy, Javier Milei? Like, yeah, you gotta go. It was like that, man. And then the groundswell underneath him of all the people who started donating to his campaign. And here's this big Texan guy with this big cowboy hat and all this, man. And he didn't know. He couldn't believe it. He logged into his campaign finance for him, and he looked and he saw the donations, and he was just overwhelmed. He was overwhelmed to see how many people were giving. And now we're getting ready to launch his store with his official line of on your bumper t-shirts, hats, mugs, bumper stickers, so that people can stop profiting off of his son's name and his likeness.
Yeah, they've done it. Well, you remember right after the joint session, they had what they call a meme coin. I didn't know what a meme coin was. I never heard of it. And so by the time the morning came, I got a phone call. And they said, "Dude, did you make a meme coin?" I was like, "What is that?" And they said, "Well, it's a coin that you make, and it's like a Bitcoin deal or whatever." And I was like, "No, I don't know anything about it." They said, "You know that they made one on your son, and they made $47 million last night, and they just cashed out this morning. And then they did it again and made another $17 million." So I'm thinking to myself, who in the hell got this money? Because I didn't get it. I would have much rather donated it than somebody steal it from me.
Yeah.
And that's wrong, you know. I mean, all the suffering and all the pain, the surgeries and stuff of that nature, you know, Diverge has been through all the sleepless nights and everything else I've been through with him, and there's people just coming through, just capitalize on it. That should be a crime. That should be a federal crime, actually, because it's got to do with something like a wire fraud.
It is a federal crime to use someone else's name and likeness to profit off of it without their permission, which is why I had Wix shut down. Somebody literally in Theodis's name for his campaign bought his domain name, Maurice, bought his domain name, set up the site, and then tried to sell it to him and said, "Well, I'll give it to you for $4,000, and wouldn't release his name and his site, his campaign site, wouldn't release his own site to him, and bought it all in their name, and then tried to extort him.
Yep. Sounds about right. That's politics for you, man. That's why a lot of Americans, like, they just stay out of it, because they know that these traps are put in place to cancel out anybody like from the start. Like if you're not in the group, in the know-how, and you're not surrounded by people who know of these traps, then you'll get set up and then stomped out immediately.
That's what I'm here for.
That's their way to filter out the everyday Americans and keep their club exclusive. Because they have all the money. We don't. We don't have all the money. We've been working our entire lives trying to provide for our kids.
Well, that's pretty much how they're doing it with the Harris County GOP over there. For Harris County, I mean, they run it like a yacht club or something. They call me an outsider candidate and things of that nature. And just because, you know, the president down there is friends with one of the candidates, she doesn't want to help with no fundraising or tell you know, especially me, I don't get any information on where the forums are, nothing. I find out from other folks. And by the time I find out, it's too late. And so that's what they're about now. It is a problem, and President Trump said it himself, and I can play the little clip back. But he said it at the founders dinner with I think it was Dr. Ben Carson's birthday. We were there, and President Trump even said that, you know, it's a problem when you have a Republican that's been endorsed by a whole bunch of Democrats. There's a problem with that, especially when them two are fighting back and forth. So one of them asked me not to run. All of a sudden, they're being endorsed by 100 Democrats. So look, my thing is, if you want to run. But if you think you're going to get in there and get the Republican votes and turn around once you get in and then say, oh, well, I'm Democrat, now you've lied. Now we have a problem. So, you know, they shouldn't be able to do that. And that's why everybody's so angry and mad and stuff. Like me, I'm running as what I am. I'm sticking to it. That's it. I'm not switching sides. I don't jump shit. I don't cross the yard to go play in the other grass. I'm right here. And I'm all the way in it. And we just got to, you know, you got to be loyal. You got to be loyal to the soil and handle business. And it's not about the money. I don't care about the money. I just want results, and I think people deserve a lot better, especially voters have been disappointed for so long. And kids deserve to grow up with a future. But for me, another thing that really jarred me was that when I went to Denny's and I saw an 87-year-old grandma working over there at Denny's. And I'm thinking I'm going to enjoy my Grand Slam. I couldn't even eat my food because I said to myself, well, God dang, if she work at Denny's, is this what I'm going to be looking forward to when I get to her age? Oh, no, we need to fix this problem now. So, you know, it's a lot of different reasons why I'm running, and people just don't understand what's going on. But I'm not very happy right now. And sometimes you got to be unhappy to want to get the drive, or like my dad say, get that leather on the tip of your boots through your rear end to get you in motion to get things done. So that's what it is. You know, my son, he's done a lot, and he deserves everything he gets, and it's tirelessly. I'm always doing things, trying to motivate folks, but at the same time, it makes me feel good to see that something small turned into something great, to where we've actually saved people's lives from committing suicide, giving up on life, continue to fight through their cancers or whatever they're going through. I'm a veteran. You know, I went through all that stuff with the whole deal with adjustment disorder and everything. It took me like 16 years to get to where I'm at right now. And I've overcome a lot of obstacles, and look at me. So there's a lot of different aspects of everything that I've been through that I can say I've been there. I'll tell you what, I got receipts and paperwork showed I worked at McDonald's at $4.15 an hour, and like somebody else, we won't mention their name, but I literally worked there in high school for $4.15 an hour. So, you know.
Yeah, well, Theotis, hey, man, we're going to be doing weekly press conferences with Theotis. If you're not following him, you can follow him at Theotis 4 Texas 18. So that's Theotis, the number 4 Texas 18. And you can follow him there. Thank you, Theotis, for joining us, and we appreciate it. And I'm doing everything I can in that regard to help this guy get where he needs to be. He needs to be the next congressman, and it gives me so much hope to know that there are regular people out there that'll take this step and that'll do this, and they'll put themselves out there, and it can be done. And he's proof it can be done.
Yep. So on X, you guys, please give him a follow. Please share this stream out. We really appreciate it. It's I mean, this is how we grow, is just by shares from you guys. And we do appreciate it, and we're really trying to get Theotis in and make sure that he has a fighting chance in this battle, because right now we are facing a very divisive battle that is actually splitting apart MAGA, and this is something that I really wanted to touch on tonight, because it seems like
let's preface it, man, because listen, guys, I'm going to tell you straight up front before he even starts. We're getting ready to lose a lot of followers, but I'm okay with it. I'm 100% okay with it. And everything that we're getting ready to go into, everything that we're ready to talk about, I will show you the receipts for, and we're getting ready to expose a lot of things. So the question is going to be, do you side with God or do you worship a political party? That's it. That's all I'm going to say. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, we've been experiencing this separation in the Make America Great Again ideals, where a lot of patriots assumed that we were all on the same page, that when we advocated for no more foreign wars, that when we advocated for no more funding of needless wars overseas for other countries, or for whatever it is. I mean, Doge came in and they were supposed to shut down the funding on all this foreign aid that we've been just throwing money at, because realistically, you look at the bill and all of a sudden we're $37 trillion in debt. And when you realize that that wealth is being robbed from our children and their children's children, I mean, it's heartbreaking. And so that's what I assumed MAGA was. But then there was this split, and there was an exemption made specifically for Israel when it came to Iran again. Because obviously Bibi Netanyahu and the entire coalition of AIPAC have been convincing the American people that, for one, Christians have to support Israel because they're God's chosen people, and that as a Christian, you're supposed to support them no matter what. No matter what they do. Oh, it is insanely tiresome to hear.
So,
and
did you know this was here, Maurice? Not to interrupt, but did you know this was here? So on the Patriots Prayer Network website, if you go over to the far right, underneath more, you'll see the U.S. debt clock. You see it? Right there. And you could take all the money from every billionaire in this country down to the last penny, and it would only run the country for 2 weeks. I want people to understand that. Understand that you could take all of Warren Buffett, all of Elon Musk's money, everyone's money. You could take it all, every dime, and you would only be able to sustain the country for 2 weeks. Just log in every now and again and take a look at that debt clock, and then wonder why we're this. It's beyond. It's our biggest enemy, or thing that I think is the biggest security threat to the United States isn't Iran. It's not foreign enemies or anything like that. It's our spending. It's our spending, guys. That's what it really amounts to. So I understood when Elon got mad. I didn't understand how he went about expressing it, but I did understand his frustration.
So as a Christian, Eddie, this is a topic that we should get into, because every single time I bring up Israel, like I can bring up the American government, the FBI, the CIA, the IRS, every bit of our government I've criticized because they've gone off the frickin' rails. But anytime I bring up Israel, I get a whole bunch of people saying, "Oh, you hate the Jews, you're a bad Christian, blah, blah, blah." I've been saying this shit for years, guys. I don't support Israel. I support America. I'm an American supremacist. That won't change. America is my homeland, and I have been inspired to stand up for it. That doesn't mean that I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe that he is our savior, that he is the truth, the way, and the life, okay? But that doesn't mean that I support the Israeli government right now that's in power as if they're some kind of special people that I need to bow down to. I bow down only to Jesus, not Israeli government officials. Let me make that insanely clear. And it's so irritating when other Christians come to me and they say that as Christians, they're God's people and we need to pretend that we should be submissive to them. No, that's false. I'm not going there. I see people as equals. They're equal to me, which means that, and as far as like the humane value of them, right? But I'm an American supremacist because this is my homeland and I wish for my kids to thrive. And that means that I'm going to advocate for that. Not for this idea in some faraway land where I'm going to rob the wealth from my children and screw their future up, set them up for a draft in 5 years, and ship them overseas to die for Israel. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to advocate for American first policies. End of story.
You know, it's funny is a lot of those same people that are in the comment section on my posts where I'm exposing this, it's false doctrine. For those of you who don't know, I left the political realm of podcasting some time ago. After Charlie Kirk's assassination, I said enough is enough. And I went over, created, and it's something that I had on my heart for a long time was to preach. I've always wanted to preach. I am a theologian. I'm not, you come at me biblically, you made a huge mistake. So all those people that think that you must support Israel if you're a Christian and that they're above reproach, I would very much recommend that you go and reread your Bible. Show me that. You'll say that it says those who bless Israel will be blessed and those who curse Israel will be cursed. Well, it does not say that you're supposed to stand up for dictators and genocide is okay and the things that people are blindly like. I don't blindly follow any man at all, period. And Charlie Kirk had a huge problem with Benjamin Netanyahu, and he voiced it over and over and over again in the weeks leading up to his assassination. And for those of you who think that if you're Christian, that you got to automatically just bow down and worship at the feet of Israel, no matter what they do blindly, I would seriously suggest you do your research on what Israel actually truly thinks of Christians. Take a look. This is how Christians are treated in Israel, right? So I'm going to show you. I mean, and it doesn't matter. These are Christian quarters in Israel. The kids hit them, spit on them. The parents laugh about it. It is perfectly okay to them to mistreat or treat them bad, to hit them, abuse them, throw chairs at them, whatever the case may be. This is what they think of Christ in Israel, except for those few who live in the Christian quarters. In your Bible, when you get into Revelation, he talks about saving the remnant, those left in Israel who still believe in Christ. Those are the people I pray for. When I pray for the peace of Israel, I'm praying for those that are in there to change their hearts to worship Christ, and those who already worship Christ to be kept safe from the people that you're supporting. Get that through your thick skulls. These are the people that you're supporting. Do you see how they're treating these people? It is such a false doctrine, and it came about not even that long ago, Maurice. It came about in, I think it was like the 1940s, and they believed that that the Reformation of Israel started the clock, the prophetical clock ticking, and that so for that reason they think that meant that they were supposed to stand for and back up Israel. No, guys, it only meant that the prophetic clock was ticking. That's all it meant. It meant that generation won't pass away before you see the return of Christ. Doesn't mean that you're supposed to back the Jews no matter what they say or do. If somebody does something wrong, it's wrong.
So one of the comments I got today was, please don't put down Israel, God's people. I've followed you for so long. And in all reality, like, I get these comments every time I bring up Israel in any way, shape, or form, because there are a lot of advocates out there that are a lot more extreme than I am against Israel, right? Like they will blame the Jews for literally everything. And for some reason, there's been a conflation between the people criticizing Israel or specific Jewish corporations or entities in our country providing funding for influence. They conflate the people going hard against them with anybody who criticizes Israel in any way, shape, or form. And that is very, very dishonest, and it is intellectually lazy. So my response was,
too.
yeah, I'm not going to put that lady on blast, because I don't think that I don't think it's right.
Oh, it's so great that you brought that up. I literally have that on my screen right now. I swear to you. I swear to you, I was getting ready to quote that verse. Go ahead.
Yep. Yeah. And my response to her was, you and I are God's people. Jesus emphasized that God's love and salvation extend to all people, not just the Jews. In Galatians 3:28, there is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male and female, for you are all one in Jesus Christ. Now, when you think about that verse specifically, it means that there isn't a specific chosen people that everybody else in the world has to bow down to, no matter their decisions. And by emotionally and spiritually blackmailing Christians into obedience to whatever their military industrial complex wants to do, like, I'm not for that. And I don't like being put down in a way saying that I should be submissive because these are the chosen people of God. It irritates me beyond belief.
Emotional
and spiritual. Emotional and spiritual.
If I criticize what they're doing, I'm immediately anti-Semitic. They immediately bring up the Holocaust. It's similar to when you're having an argument with a liberal. And the liberal goes, "Oh, you're racist." That's when you know you won the argument, right? Because they don't have any intellectual argument that they can give when they do that. That's like when they ran out of every possible thing they can say. That's the fallback line, is you're racist, and it's the most ridiculous thing ever. I mean, that's just one of many verses in the Bible that talk about that. Neither Jew nor Gentile, but you got to understand God's people. Exodus 32, call Israel stiff-necked for idolatry. God will make their hearts hardened, that in the last days that there will be a big revival in Israel for them to come back to God. So they're not at that point yet. And in Amos 5:21 verses 5, chapter 5 verses 21 through 24, he condemned every empty religion and let justice roll down like water. So God is a God of justice. God is a God of truth. God is not going to stand by why somebody commits crimes, pays off governments, lies to your face, and you're never supposed to question it because it's Israel. That is so antithetical to anything Christian. It's just ridiculous that anyone thinks or feels that way. They don't read their Bibles. They need to open them.
Well, it's not like I really, okay. A lot of boomers and Gen Xers see, like, they've been taught that supporting Israel was the right thing to do. Like, that's how you be a good Christian, is you support Israel. Because, and I'll full disclosure
I used to be
here.
that brainwashed too. I used to be that brainwashed guy.
It's pretty close to what I'm about to say. Before I started researching myself into what's going on, with Israel and Gaza and like the entirety of the history and our relationship with Israel, what AIPAC does with our politicians, how much influence they have. I used to say Judeo-Christian. And then, you start learning about the Talmud, and you start learning about what they teach in Israel, and you start learning the relationship that they have with us. And I don't like it. I don't know what to tell you. Like, if that makes me a bad Christian, then I'm a bad Christian. But you know what? My relationship with Christ is going to be solid. I believe, and if I'm wrong, then I'll burn in hell. So be it. Okay? I am dead set that I'm going to trust the judgment that God gave me, because when somebody is taking advantage of you and your country and robbing the wealth of your children in order to fund their wars overseas, I'm not going to go along with it.
You know how many people live in Israel? What the population is?
I don't know.
It's 9 million people. 9 million.
I was gonna say 8, but I was close. I should have just said it.
Why do we fund them? Why do we fund them to the tune of almost $100 billion a year? Why do you need $100 billion for 9 million people? And then turn around and use organizations like AIPAC. And then AIPAC is bragging on hot mics that they control more of the Senate and the Congress than our president does. They have more influence than our president does. And for those of you who don't believe me, I will pull up the clip. I'll pull up the clip of the guy actually doing it on the mic. You can hear him say it yourself. Here, hold on. I'm gonna pull it up. because I want to come with the receipts. I want to come with the receipts for people who really think that they're being Christian, because I'm not doing this out of hate.
Well, I would also like to bring up
you are
that,
either.
Well, okay, so we are both wearing Charlie Kirk merchandise. Okay, this doesn't mean that I support what TPUSA is currently doing, or the direction that they're headed, because I'm not sure what direction they're going. Okay, but I did support Charlie Kirk, and I really believe that he was on a path of virtue, that he was actually spreading the word of Christ throughout this nation and changing the minds and hearts of our youth away from the depravity of the world and towards Christ, which I believe was a good thing. And even he, who worked with a lot of Jewish donors and a lot of Israeli representatives and propagandists, had a lot of questions about Israel. So if you believed in Charlie Kirk and what he was doing, I'm asking questions that he already asked but never got an answer to. You know, I mean, it is October 8th today? It's a day after October 7th, 2 years, you know, since the emotional, since the massacre that happened in Israel. And I would like to acknowledge that, yes, that happened, and it wasn't good. It was a bad thing. But Charlie had questions about it, and so do I, and they've never been answered. And many people have asked, was there a stand-in order? Where did this come from? Why did it take so long for the IDF, over 6 hours, for the IDF to respond to this when it is that the entire country is the size of New Jersey? When you can, I mean, there are so many IDF soldiers. That country is the IDF, basically. They're everywhere. And there was no response for almost 6 hours, or over 6 hours, excuse me. And that, to me, doesn't make any sense. And it drives me crazy that I get put on blast for questioning that. It's like those people that were there have a reasonable expectation from their government that they should be protected if something like this were to happen. The people there have that expectation, and nobody was helped for 6 hours.
Yep.
Why?
Give them time to get away. Give them time to get in. Now, I'm not just saying that that's what I think. I'm going to bring that receipt too in just a second. But first, I want you to listen to the words of AIPAC. You can hear it yourself. Right? Here it is.
Lobby the executive, but as we were talking about, there was a discussion earlier about Congress being represented to the people. Well, the White House has to be responsive to Congress. And so it's working with, at the time, our friends on the Democratic side of the aisle to apply pressure the way that they know how to an administration, as it will be with this administration. Bob was talking about the people who will get appointed into some of these jobs. Look at the top level, we talk about Marco Rubio and Stefanik, and Michael Waltz. Those three people have something in common. They all serve in Congress. They all have relationships with key AIPAC leaders in their communities. So the lines of communication are good. Should there be something questionable or curious that we need access on the conversation to? You never got one of the first candidates I ever met with as an AIPAC professional in my job as being candidates for Congress was a guy named John Ratcliffe. He was challenging a long-time incumbent member of Congress in Dallas. This guy looks like he could win the race, and you go talk to him, he had a good understanding of the issues. And a couple of weeks ago, he took the oath as the CIA director for crying out loud. He was the guy that they had a chance to speak to. So there are a lot, I don't want to call them lifelines, but there are lifelines.
Right there. They pick, let's see. So, I mean, this was posted on June 20th. This was at the beginning of Trump's term, though. I remember when I first saw it, and it was right after Trump was elected, because you hear him bragging about them getting Marco Rubio appointed, about getting Elaine Stefanik appointed, and picking who was going to be those leaders and putting pressure on both the Democratic and Republican side and having control of both parties.
You know, that's one of the irritating things that a lot of people fail to bring up, is that AIPAC, like, why in the world would you ever promote AIPAC in any way when they will play both sides as long as they're supported. And they're going to throw money at everybody. At everybody. And whoever accepts it.
$7,000 a post, Maury. $7,000 a post.
Oh, that's just for influencers. That's not the politicians. They will throw money at a communist, Marxist, atheist piece of shit who wants to mutilate the genitals of children. They advocate for this. They will sponsor him. They will pay for them to get into office as long as they are loyal to AIPAC. That is it. That is the only thing that they want. And so there's no reason why any patriotic American should support AIPAC in any way when their agenda is not for the betterment of the American people. It is whoever gets into power and is loyal to us deserves all of this excess money. That is a fucking problem that the left, the right, the middle, everybody should have a problem with.
As a mandate,
you want to get
BD.
Hold up. Whoa,
I didn't mean to do that. Go ahead.
For anybody who wants to get money out of politics, right, and are worried about people being bought by the government and that they're just mouthpieces for money, AIPAC is a huge problem in this because they don't care at all who they support as long as they're going to win and be loyal to them. That is their only requirements. Why do we have any exceptions in any way for AIPAC? Because it is not against the American people at all. Or, I mean, it's not for the American people at all. It is strictly for their goals only.
They're not registered under FARA. Any of that. The pin post for all those people that, like that lady that was on your post earlier, Maurice, that was that you posted that Galatians verse back to. I got at her for a minute too. And I went to her profile because I always look to see who's criticizing these things and who they are. And she's got all this pro Charlie Kirk stuff. I'm like, did you not listen to Charlie? Because listen to what Charlie said.
It's muted.
Gotta be careful the way I say this. They're gonna try to ethnically cleanse Gaza. I mean that's, and I don't use that term lightly. Okay, they're talking about basically removing 2.5 million people from there. Okay. And honestly, they have a mandate to go seek justice and revenge. They do. There is this idea that they need to have a truce or a peace treaty. That's moral. After you see women and children be burned alive and dragged to the streets. But there are some serious questions here, Patrick. And let me tell you, my pattern recognition over the last 5 years has become pretty sharp. COVID, Maui fires, Epstein. When I see a story and it doesn't click, our guts are usually right. BD and the.
So you asked a question earlier, Maurice, about the same thing he asked was about the stand down. Was there a stand down? And 3 days ago, the IDF testified in front of what we would like our Congress, right? And the IDF soldier testified, and you don't have to take my word for it. Was there a stand down? Was there not a stand down on that day? And you can listen to him tell you himself.
So this kind of brings up a really interesting point in that there's a lot of people who came out immediately, and even Nick Fuentes. We don't need to play this. Just maybe post it below or something. But he basically says that there was a stand down, correct?
There was a stand down. He got an order to abandon his post at 5:30 a.m. and along with the other IDF soldiers, and that's why the border wasn't protected.
And so I got to be honest with that. I don't know the language he's speaking, so just relying strictly on the translated.
Oh, you can
text.
use Grok to translate it. You can use Grok to translate it. I did.
Okay. All right. Well, it's not surprising. And the idea that a government would allow an atrocity to use as ammunition to complete their goals is not out of the realm of possibility. And it's frustrating to me when I'm constantly attacked and to be said that I'm anti-Semitic or, I've come to the point where like anti-Semitic is the same thing as me being called a racist or the same thing as me being called, a homophobe or a transphobe. It's like, I get along with Scott Presler just fine. I'm around homos. Like, I'm okay as long as they're not like bad people.
You can't say homo, dude.
Oh, around the gays, I don't know. Like, they're cool, or some of them are. As long as they're not trying to indoctrinate children, it is what it is. Hopefully he repents and comes back to Christ. But in all reality, I'm not afraid of him. And so this idea that this anti-Semitism has been irritating me for a long time, because I feel like I'm getting attacked by people that should be agreeing with me, but they are programmed not to. And so I've been trying to figure out how to work around that and how to bring people to, what's closer to the truth. Okay, you want to believe in Israel, well then you're going to have to believe in something other than the current government running it right now, because they're treacherous, evil people, is what it seems like. I mean, Bibi Netanyahu just went on Dinesh D'Souza's podcast, or got interviewed by Dinesh D'Souza, and a lot of the stuff he said there pissed me off beyond belief. I mean, it got to the point where like I just like, fuck you, dude. Like, he's comparing his war in Gaza right now to World War II, and that Americans killed more Germans in World War II. So why are you getting on me? Come on now. It's like, dude, you've been yelling about us about the fucking Holocaust for years, and all of a sudden now you want to say that because we killed some Germans and sided with the communists, by the way, not a great thing. Now you want to throw that in our face and say that, and try to say that oh, you got blood on your hands too, so why aren't we allowed to go and do this? Fuck you. That's like, really, I cannot stand that. And then the fact that just the other day with Trump, when he came out and said that in the Bible, when he's talking about his actions, okay, he's not talking biblically at all. He's talking about his military actions, and he says, well, the Bible says that those who support you. What the fuck what does it say? You just referenced
those who bless Israel will be blessed. Those who curse Israel will be cursed.
Exactly. He brought that up to get spiritual and emotional blackmail against his descendants, right? Against those who dissent against him. And the list can go on and on and on. Charlie Kirk was even bringing up that right before October 7th, there was basically a civil war going on in Israel. And yep. Benjamin Netanyahu was basically rewriting their constitution and taking over. And then all of a sudden this atrocity happened. Oh, now he gets wartime powers, and now he gets to remain in power, and nobody gets to go against him because now he is the wartime boss. Yeah, it's all a coincidence, though. Don't look at it. Support him. Otherwise, you're a bad Christian. No, fuck you, dude. I'm
if
so
they,
done
if
with
they
that.
took a vote right now, if they took a poll in Israel right now, he would be out tomorrow. It'd be the same thing with the leader of Ukraine, Zelensky.
Oh yeah,
it's the same thing. They tried to oust him. His own people tried to take him out, and this is the same thing with Benjamin Netanyahu. It's the same exact thing. And here's something that's crazy, Maurice, and I talked about it for a minute before we got on here. Right? You guys got to understand that the times we're living in are so prophetic. We have a comet coming to April 13th of the year 2029. All right? Let me get this, spell this out, because this is mind-blowing. You have a comet coming in 2029. The tribulation starts 3.5 years before Wormwood hits. All right? This is a biblical timeline. 3.5 years before that comet comes, the tribulation starts. And a 7-year peace agreement is initiated where Israel's at the center. Guys, what just happened today? A 7-year peace agreement was floated. Hamas agreed to it. Qatar agreed to it. Egypt agreed to it. They're all agreeing to this 7-year ceasefire and this peace deal, and they just gave back all these hostages. While at the same time, just another mile marker, the Euphrates River is just about bone dry and will be bone dry within the year, according to the scientists that are over there. That is also biblical, and it says when that happens, that's when that war starts, because it clears way for the kings of the east to march. And so this peace agreement coming at exactly this time, that's exactly 7 years, all of it is prophetic. And the Jews just sacrificed the red heifer and found the new site for the temple. They're
under the guise of a mock sacrifice, by the way, because they didn't want anybody to know. So they did it secretly and then came out and bragged about it later. So they're not doing this out of like the good of their hearts. No, this is a secret behind the scenes agenda that they have.
Sure enough. And it's undeniable. I mean, one thing is a coincidence, two things maybe, but 5, 6 things, all biblical, all prophetical, all coming true exactly at the same time. No, I'm sorry, no. just not statistically probable at all. And guys, you need to wake up. For all of you who think you're Christian and you're supporting Israel because you're Christian and that is your only reasoning, I wonder if the Bible collecting dust on your nightstand needs to be opened or not. Please open it and read it, because it doesn't say what you're thinking. Wake up.
The Nunn Report. Look at you guys.
Dan Nunn, bro. I haven't seen this guy in a while.
Yeah, I just seen his comment. Man, it is good to hear from you. It's been quite a while, and he's right with this. You can question the Israeli government whole and still support the nation of Israel. They're not mutually exclusive. I mean, I kind of agree with that, but the problem is that they run the government right now, so it's really difficult to continue any kind of support for them, especially like with the way that they're propagandizing the American people right now. I have a real issue with that, and I'm sure that liberals do too. I mean, so all the Democrats and all of the entire liberal media was so concerned about Russian interference back in 2016 with Trump getting elected, right? It was like a couple $1,000s on Facebook ads that they bought. It was ridiculous. But now we have the Israeli government putting out pro-Israeli propaganda. They're paying influencers up to $7,000 a post. There are influencers in our free speech area that are abusing that and being paid to promote Israeli first propaganda. That is not America first. That is not going to make America great again. And this rift that we're seeing in between MAGA, right? It's like the separation that we had years ago from MAGA and Republicans, right? Because Trump came over and he took over the Republican Party, and there was a separation of those groups. Now we're separating again, and I'm actually okay with it, because you know what? I want to make America Christian again. Okay, it's not what my shirt says. We need to make shirts that say that, by the way, because I'm sick and tired. Like I like the "Make America Great Again" slogan, but now it has been attached to too many bad things, right? Too many things that aren't truly make America great again. So let's be more specific. Let's make America Christian again. I'm tired of anti-Christian rhetoric. I'm tired of anti-Christian ideas that have been, the separation of church and state, and the idea that we should not have our morals guided by Jesus, guided by a book that has been preserved for thousands of years. No, make America Christian again. Now, Troll, I know that you believe that you don't follow a God, but every human inherently has their greatest ideal that they follow. And if you believe in any history at all, the truest thing in history is the birth, the death, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. That is the truest thing. If you look at all of history and what you can prove and who can testify towards it, the truth, the most truthful thing that we can find is the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. So I don't know what to tell you.
Here it is, and I call it the third option, right? And I say it like this, right? And I got kind of a monologue for it, because it really needs to be said, because people, like you said, they think that that there's only two sides. So, and I say it like this. So you've been told There are only two sides, right? Either left, right, blue, red, liberal, conservative. And they put you in a box and they say, pick a corner, pick a team. And they don't let you step out of that box, because the moment you step out of that box, you're attacked, written off, whatever the case may be. But what if I told you that the truth isn't, sometimes it's not in either box? What if I told you sometimes the truth completely stands alone, uninvited by either side? Doesn't matter. See, that problem is that the world is not built on teams. When your loyalty belongs to a party, truth becomes negotiable. When your loyalty belongs to an individual or a politician, morality then becomes flexible. But when your identity is tied to an argument, then you stop hearing the truth altogether. But both sides will pull at you, screaming. One side will say, if you're not with us, you're with them. And the other side echoes the same exact thing in reverse. And while they fight over who's right, the truth stands in the middle, bleeding and ignored. You really have to say we've turned politics in this country into a religion, and opinions into altars. But God doesn't ride on the back of a donkey or an elephant. He doesn't fit into any party platform. He is the platform. His unshakable foundation of truth. So maybe it's time that we stop being pulled left or right and we start looking up, because sometimes the third choice isn't political at all. It's not left. It's not right. It's God's side. And if you get on God's side, that's the only side that never changes, never lies, and it never loses. That's simple.
Troll. I'm trying to change that. He comments here. He says it's the propaganda attached and how the right is using it, as in Christianity, to pull MAGA back together, but that includes Israel too. And I'm talking about that split that needs to happen. That where Christians need to realize that Christianity stands separate from who's running the Israeli government today. They're not one and the same. And they will never be.
Christianity is not equal either. Well, all Christianity is not equal. If you got a woman on your pulpit, run. If your preacher's telling you have to give up 10% of your paycheck, run. If they're saying you're poor or you're sick because you don't have enough faith, and you're poor because you don't give enough, run. It's not real Christianity. These are the tenets of the prosperity gospel, taken over by people like Kenneth Copeland, Joel Osteen, T.D. Jakes, these types of people. And it's false. It is a false doctrine. Or the UMC that's putting gay people on the pulpit. This is a ridiculous version of American Christianity that is completely false. None of it's real. That's why I find people as my church, right? I don't find it in a building or under the stamp of some denomination. I open my Bible, and whatever it says it means, and whatever it means it says. And that's it. And when I find people who agree with me, they're added to the flock. When I find people that agree with that, rather, they're added to the flock. That's it.
And yeah, I mean, Eddie, this is one of the first things I said when we first met, was that I wanted to build a tribe of patriots. And the tribe of patriots that I want to surround myself with are good, hardworking, God-fearing Americans. And it's the more that I've ventured out into this political sphere, the more like questionable connections you see to the people who are really successful. And at times I've really questioned, like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be hyper successful in this sphere. Like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to do this full time. I'm actually now at the point where I doubt that I ever will be. For the last couple of years, I've had this belief that I was going to be able to leave my job and be able to do this full time and travel the country, either doing speeches or whatever it may be. But being a podcaster and somebody who could host events like what Charlie Kirk did. But then you kind of look, and even like Charlie Kirk, even the connections that he had and his wife had, like they're either born into money or like born into or marry into, like, you look at Candace Owens, right? The marriage with her husband is very, very suspicious. It's just weird. And it's like, okay, all of these very successful people I see, it's like their dads were in the CIA, or their wife's mom or their wife's dad is IDF, or their wife's dad was is an operator in Raytheon, and like it is just constant that this shit happens. And I'm like, dude, I'm just a fucking regular person. My mom worked at like Dairy Queen, and then she worked for like this property company buying various properties, and my stepdad owned his own construction company. Like, I'm a nobody, right? I am a nobody from that sphere, and I'm amazed that I've even gotten to the point of 200 and something thousand followers. Like, that's incredible to me. But I don't think that I'll ever be hyper successful in this sphere, because I'm not going to sell out my opinions. I'm not going to sell out my ideas for the sake of getting money. And that it seems like, I mean, in order to compete in this sphere, you need a lot of money. I mean, we learned that last year, and even this year. Man, I burnt up all my vacation time and sick pay like right at the beginning of the year. And then I was out, and now I just lose a shit ton of money every time I have an event or every time I go and do something. And it's like, it's not sustainable. But I do this because I really want to reach out to people and change their hearts and minds and get them on the path of righteousness, and actually having conviction to give a damn about what's actually going on in this country. Because I know that conservatives are driven by necessity. I know that most of them want to be left alone. But I'll tell you what, if you are not proactive and you are just reactive, eventually the storm will sweep your feet, man. And so as Christians, we actually have to be proactive and take steps against these evil doers, these spiritual hosts of wickedness that want us to be slaves, that want us to be reveling in the impulsive pleasure that Satan offers. I don't want that to be the life of my fellow Americans. I want more for them. And so I'm to the point where, like, I don't think I'm going to be hyper successful and make a shit ton of money from this. But you know what? I don't really care. I'm going to keep doing this because I want to. I'm going to keep doing this because I felt something calling from deep within my soul to start speaking out. And 2 years later, I got 200 and something thousand followers, traveled around the country, more than I have in my entire life. And I feel like I'm just getting started. So I guess we'll see what happens from here. But my Lord.
Here's the thing, though, Maurice. I'm gonna give you some encouragement, brother. We have almost 7,000 people right now, right, watching. If 1,000 of those people can have their heart touched and their minds changed, you can do more with 1,000 real people than someone else can do with 100,000 fake ones. That is true. That's a good point. Imagine if you have 200,000 followers, if just 5% of those followers actually support you. Like, guys, if you're watching right now and you're not subscribed to Maurice, what is it, $2.99 or whatever it is, dude, go subscribe to his page.
It's $5.
These people, if whatever it is, it's insignificant in a month. Here's the thing: when you look at people like, and I'm not saying this to put Sean Ryan down. I don't know Sean Ryan. I don't know his heart, whatever. But I'm just using it as an example. Or even, let's use Laura Loomer, somebody I actually do dislike. She's created. They're created. When you look at these big time podcasters and you look at the guests they get and the people they get on, somebody is sending those. Me and you could be those people if we had somebody sending our guests to us and setting us up with those companies. Those people are created. This is a grassroots movement. I've been doing this He's at this for 2 years. I've been at this for almost 5. I've never made money. I am so far in the red doing this. But the thing is it doesn't matter to me because it is a passion project. It is a passion project from something that happened to me while I was in prison, and I risked my life to follow God. I actually put my life at risk to do this and say that I want to follow God. So I'm not going to do it half-hearted. And I'm not going to do it to make money. If I do, so be it. If you follow me and you like the message, thank you. But I'm in it for the people that are real, the ones that follow us, that believe in the mission and actually have a heart for God and want to see the groundswell beneath us and see the change. 1,000, 10,000 of our followers subscribing to our channels, doing super chats, sending tips would put us more than over the edge to be able to get our message out. And that's what we've never done, guys. You've never heard him on here saying, hey guys, send us money and do all these types of things. We don't, that's just never been our thing. We don't do it. You know, unless we're helping someone, like when we helped Holden, or raising money to put the exoskeleton on the Marine and that sort of thing. But guys, I'm telling you right now, and I've never done this before, I've never asked it before. If you want to see us succeed, if you like the messages from myself, Maurice, Steve, Nate Kane, who also risked his life to do what was right, and that's the story here over and over again on the Patriots Prayer Network. Lynn Hagerman Scott, who was actually one of the victims of MK Ultra. Guys, we give voices to these people. We need your help. We need your assistance. And it doesn't take a lot. It takes a couple of dollars out of thousands of people in order to upgrade sets, be able to send us around, to hold events, to talk this truth to other people and get this message out. That's what we need. Because I'm telling you, Maurice and I have been doing this off the sweat of our brows for years. And the time is now, and the time is short, and we need to get this message out now. And we need your help to do it.
Tyler, I appreciate that. And I'd be more than open to come back on your podcast again here soon. Just reach out to me, DM me again. I know we've talked before. I don't know if I've ever actually been on your podcast, so I can't remember right now.
Maurice has a terrible memory, man. He's got a terrible memory.
I blame. Well, yeah, I do, and I think my memory is bad. Like, what is it? The recall, like just trying to get it back out of my head. Like it's in there somewhere. I can't recall it. I blame the cancer that I had. You know, at 14, the medical industry, Big Pharma stole my thyroid because I had cancer, and so now, like part of the side effects of not having a thyroid is short-term memory loss, and it is so insanely difficult to try and remember this crap, and to try and actually keep track of all the short-term stuff. I know that it's up in there, but my recall is just terrible. So, but you guys, I Troll says not laughing at cancer. Hey, it was fine, man. I beat it. It wasn't that bad. It was, a couple surgeries, couple, bits of radiation treatment. It was fine. But now I just got to rely on synthetic thyroid hormone to stay alive. So that's kind of irritating.
Are you on Synthroid?
Levothyroxine.
Yeah, my wife is on Synthroid. Same exact kind of deal.
Yeah, it sucks.
I'm gonna put this up. I'm gonna put this up, and you guys, what I want to do, and I'm gonna tell you up front exactly what I want to do, is I want to be able to. I'm getting ready to upgrade. I talked to Maurice about this. I'm getting ready to upgrade tremendously. You're gonna see like movie cameras and all. I'm getting ready stream decks. I'm going like balls to the wall. But Maurice and Steve and these guys, I want to be able to get them new equipment. I want to put us on the map and be able to get these guys the things they need to succeed. So if you guys would, we would appreciate anything at all that you can give to help.
If you watch any other big podcasters, suggest that we go on there again. Like I would like to go back on Tim Pool's podcast and throw a wrench in some of his gears, especially since Phil Labonte blocked me for making one short joke. That really fucking irritates me because he still has a bunch of tweets up about like promoting my page, and when I met him, it was like there were zero issues. I made one online short joke and he blocks me. Are you kidding me? So it would be fun to go back on Tim Pool's podcast and make fun of Phil's short temper, again. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I could probably reach out to him and see if I can get back on there. But again, I lose a shit ton of money going out there. Like, because it's a 3-day trip. Now, I will say that, like, they pay for the flight, they pay for the hotel stay and everything. But losing 3 days of work when I already spent my vacation and sick pay earlier this year, like, you know, I'm the sole provider of my household. My wife's a stay-at-home wife. I will never want to change that. I will work 70, 80, 90 hours a week if necessary. But it's just, you know, taking 3 days off to go on a podcast is very difficult. So, but at times it's worth it. Excuse me.
But you guys, some pretty cool stuff, man. It's been a fun ride, and I know that this new thing that we're doing is not necessarily going to be the most popular, but it's going to be the truest, and it's going to be the most honest. And I'd rather stand on that.
Well, I'd like to point out that like my stance has not changed at all. It's just I'm being more vocal against the intrusions that I see on the American people. And maybe it was happening before, but I wasn't aware of it. But I've always maintained the idea that I'm not pro-Israel. I'm not pro-Palestine. I'm not pro-Ukraine. I'm not pro-Russia. Okay? I'm pro-America. End of story. I want a better future for my kids. I want a better future for you guys. I want your kids to be able to have children and watch them thrive. That's what I really want. The greatest part of my week, every week, is watching my kids grow up. That is what I absolutely love. And I love the idea that they're going to have kids one day, and hopefully they'll be able to move out and buy a house and build a life of their own, and help, you know, their neighbors and community, and be an inspiration to the people around them. Like, that's what I want. And in order to do that, we have to stop all of this insane, reckless spending, and this idea that the military-industrial complex is the most important thing to fund all the time, and that the Israeli influence, the AIPAC influence, is more important than your trust in Jesus Christ and for our own future. Our America, our own future. Not Israel's, okay? Our own future. Okay? If your house is on fire, you should probably put it out before you go across the block to put out somebody else's fire. They're going to have to deal with that as is. But our house is on fire right now. We got to put it out. It's necessary.
It's true. And I'll say it again, and I mean this, guys. The time is short. The time is short. We're running out of time, and I believe with all my heart we're getting ready to see things that are just going to blow your mind. This is not like any other time in history. We're in the last minutes of the last days. If you're not right with God, you need to get right with God. That is a fact. You have to get right with God. You can't worry about how people feel about you, whether or not people are going to agree with you, what hatred they're going to spew at you, whatever, man. Just be right with God. At the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Yep. Eddie, you know, I absolutely love talking with you. I know we talk on off the podcast all the time, but we do got to shut this down. I got to go be a husband and father to my family. So
I got to go sit on the right side of the couch. All my kids are grown.
Hey, you still got a wife out there, you know? But I appreciate you coming on and taking over for Steve. I'm sorry Steve couldn't make it today, guys. He had other obligations, so he wasn't able to do it. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please share this podcast. Clip it if you want to. Send out clips. I don't know, like, I don't know how people, I see clips of other people's podcasts all the time. I ain't never seen a clip of mine. It's not on you guys, but like maybe I don't say anything that cool. I don't know, but it'd be cool. It'd be cool to see, you know. It'd be cool to see. But you guys, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it.
I've come across recently of some people taking my content and clipping it and putting it
Oh,
out
dude,
there.
I seen that. Yeah, I seen a post of yours out in the wild. It didn't have a tag to Eddie or anything. It was just one of his videos where he was ranting and rave about something. I don't know what it was, but it was pretty cool. I sent it to him. I was like, Eddie, look, I seen you out in the wild. It's just it's
I
cool
don't
to
care.
see.
I don't see it. I don't see it as people stealing my content. If you want to promote me and clip what I say, please do.
Now shoot. I mean, how many thousands of hours do we have on, speaking online? It's like
a lot. I'm going to tell a quick story before we get off here. Maurice had to be talked into doing this. Maurice, when we first started podcasting, I had to convince him to do this. He didn't know if the long form posts and the things that he was doing on X were going to translate well into podcast format. What do you guys think? Did it translate well? Let him know. Do you guys like seeing Maurice and the podcast? And did it work out the way that he thought it was going to? Let him know, because I think it did.
Yeah, I think it's definitely been an overall net benefit, and I was definitely hesitant to start because I'm from a small town of 2,500 people. I graduated with a 2.0 GPA. I had no interest in school. I always wanted to get to work and start a family. Like, that was my goal, and I did. And so now I'm here, and it's like, I look at my kids and worry about their future and believe that I can do more. And I believe that, 2.0 is not that great. I saw school as busy work, and it was super irritating that they gave me, they were trying to just keep me, they didn't want to teach me anything. They wanted to keep me busy doing stuff. Like, I already know all this. Why are you giving me extra work for no reason? So I can turn it in and get an A on it? I'm not going to do that. I've always had an issue with people trying to screw with me. And so now I feel like the government's screwing with me, and that the Israeli propagandists out there getting paid up to $7,000 a tweet are screwing with me. The mainstream media is screwing with me.
My other profile, Jaime Rabinowitz, please go follow him. And he's a pro-Israel Zionist, and he's great. And let Israel know. That way they can give me $7,000.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Jaime Rabinowitz.
Oh my gosh. Hey man, you made it to 9th grade. I basically made it to 9th grade. I graduated, but I was almost never at school.
It's overinflated, dude. Listen, I worked at the DOD,
bullshit.
DOD, DOE, NIST, NSTech, one of the most prestigious GCs in the entire state, and I'm running political campaigns. Do you really think school is that important? I mean, if you learn what you want to learn, the things you want to know, you will know.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, that's really what it is. You got to want to know it, and you will know it.
Anyway, you guys, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. God bless you all. God bless America. We'll see you. I'm turning, I won't be on Friday because it's my birthday. Turning 34, So that'll be fun. But I'll be back on next Monday. And Steve will be back on too. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. God bless you. God bless America. We will see you then. Take care.
Have a great night, guys.
Oh, do you want me to end it? I can end it.
I got you.
My people of this country, and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough.
This is the Patriots Prayer Podcast. It's a tremendous show, one of the greatest shows in the history of the world.
This is Bryson Gray, and you are watching the Patriots Prayer.
PPN, you're doing the right thing.
On the Patriots Prayer Network. Thank you all.
PPN on your bumper.
I'm Tom McDonald. This is the Patriot Prayers Network. Check it out. Lots of good TV. Lots of cool people. Tune in. Keep it locked.
Know where I stand. I'm the white boy with the middle fingers in the air, dog. We don't give a what. 100 white boys gonna hold me down anywhere, dog. We think that you suck. My Patriots the craziest. They ain't afraid of breaking fists on faces. If you really wanna taste of this, no safety tip. The same mistake and spray the clip. I pray you miss, cause if you don't, they gon' go wacko. Automatic gun gun smoke like tobacco. Never hit a lady, but it's pretty hard to tell if you're a girl or a they, them, theirs, these, that, those. I ain't never gonna take a knee for the anthem. Smack them, I don't give a damn, can't stand them. Gang full of randoms, fan with a handgun. Run up in your mansion, leave it all abandoned. I was raised to be brave till the grave. United States, we love the country that they've been corrupting. Go woke and go broker if you ain't obeyed. My people love this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough, come stand with us, take USA back. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flag.